The Burrage Sports Show.
What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? We are back. The Burrage Sports Show, the #1 sports podcast in the world. I'm one of your hosts, Mike B, and I'm here with my son,
Mike BURR.
Mike BURR. And for all those who ask me, because we do have some subscribers, and we call our subscribers winners, we've had some people ask, is he really your son? And he is. He's my son, so he's my biological son. We got a lot to talk about, man. It is rocking in the shot right now. The Bears, 3-0. The Cubs, congratulations. They win the NL Central. They win a division in baseball. The White Sox, they're in the playoffs. It's just a lot going on, man. We got a lot of basketball. You know we're going to talk about that. So it's a busy day for sports. The presidential debates are tonight, but I want to start off where there's no debate. The Kansas City Chiefs look like they'll never lose a game ever.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. If any team can go undefeated, it's gonna be these Chiefs. I think Patrick Mahomes is just showing you he's just better than everybody. And with a Super Bowl MVP under his belt, with the big money contract, he's even more confident. He still has all the weapons. And don't sleep on the KC defense. They might be the most underrated defense in the league because you're so worried about the offense. But they got a ton of playmakers on the defensive side of the ball, and especially if you're playing from behind, because more than likely you will be, they can really make some plays.
Yeah, they can. But you know the ironic thing, as good as the Kansas City Chiefs have been, they're 3-0. Patrick Mahomes has looked like the Michael Jordan of football. 9 touchdowns, no interceptions, 114 quarterback rating. If the season ended today, he wouldn't be MVP.
Yeah.
He's the best player on the best team. But right now, Russell Wilson of the Seattle Seahawks is smoking. I mean, they're 3-0, and he tied an, I think, matter of fact, he broke an NFL record, 14 TD passes in the first 3 games with 1 pick, and he has a 139 quarterback rating. So as hot as Patrick Mahomes is, as hot as Aaron Rodgers is, who's 3-0, Ben Roethlisberger is 3-0, Russell Wilson right now is flat out balling out. I'm talking about record-breaking balling out.
Yeah, he's on a whole different level. I think this is the best offensive line he's had, you know, for the last couple of years, really since that Super Bowl team. The offensive line has been not that great. You know, he was running around, just scrambling, making plays, and was still winning games because he's a great player and they have a great defense. But this year, great offensive line. They got great weapons, DK Metcalf,
yes,
Greg Olsen. And they still got the receivers they had before, too. And they have a really good offense, still have a strong defense. And another stat, which is just crazy from Russell Wilson, he has a 14% touchdown percentage. So if you don't know what that means it's basically the amount of touchdowns you have divided by the amount of passing attempts.
Okay.
So what that means, every 8 or 9 passes is a touchdown.
Dang.
So every 8 to 9 plays, he's scoring a touchdown. That is crazy production. And if he keeps this up, he might have the greatest season ever.
Yeah, and here's the thing, too. When you watch him, he is throwing dimes. Some people say he's the greatest long ball passer of all time or in that class. But he's throwing a long ball, and he is dropping it right in the breadbasket. Some of those throws against the Dallas Cowboys were a thing of beauty, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, he was launching it over the defensive backs, over the safeties, just dropping it right into the hands of the receivers. So not only is he doing it statistically, it looks good while he's doing it. He is throwing a beautiful football, especially the long ball.
Yeah. He's just playing on another level right now. And the crazy thing is, Russell Wilson, he has 0 MVP votes over his whole career. 0. It's not.
Really?
Yeah, he hasn't got a single MVP vote ever, which is just crazy to think. I think that's definitely a chip on his shoulder. And with the weapons and with the offensive line he has, they're doing a great job this season. He's going to tear through this league.
And you know what's ironic? I remember when him and Andrew Luck, they both burst on the scene. And that used to be a very serious debate, which one of these young quarterbacks were going to, dominate the league. And Andrew Luck was a really good player.
Yeah.
And he just started having injuries, and he just decided that's it, But he lived up to expectations. He wasn't a choke. When he was healthy, he played good ball. He got them to the playoffs. But a lot of people thought Russell Wilson was just going to be a game manager because the Legion of Boom, that defense was ridiculous. Mm-hmm. But Russell Wilson is showing you he's not a game manager. Yeah. He is a bona fide Hall of Fame thrower of the football. I mean, he is awesome, man. And it's so ironic. When you watch Patrick Mahomes, he's unstoppable right now. And right now, he isn't the best. Let me say it like this. He's the best quarterback in the league, I think, Patrick Mahomes. But he's not the best quarterback right now. The best quarterback right now, statistically. And if you were picking MVP, you got to go with Russell Wilson.
Yeah. And then another guy who also if he keeps this up, is going to get some MVP votes. Josh Allen.
For Buffalo.
He's having a breakout year. He has over 1,000 yards in the first 3 games, and he's making clutch plays too. Yeah, I like him. He's scrappy. He's not scared. They got Stephon Diggs and a lot of weapons on that offense. Great running game, great defense, and they got a real chance with Tom Brady leaving that division to win the division for probably the first time in like 20 years or something.
Dude, I know they so relieved he gone, man. Yeah. I know they we're glad. But even with him gone, the Patriots are 2-1.
Yeah.
They're playing good football. They're playing real good football. I mean, so you still gonna have to deal with them, but they much rather deal with Cam than Tom Brady. But I don't know. Patriots aren't gonna just lay down. You're gonna still have to beat them.
Yeah. Yeah. I like the Patriots. I like how they're playing, and they're always going to be at the top of that division as long as they got Bill Belichick and Cam Newton. A lot of people were counting them out. I don't know how that happened.
True.
For the last decade, he's been one of the most exciting players, been one of the most talented players. You could argue he's the most talented quarterback we've seen.
Yeah.
To be able to do what he does at his size and speed and athleticism.
True.
But people just started counting him out. The Panthers counted him out, and now people are acting like they're surprised he's playing so well, and the Patriots are winning. But it's no surprise to me. He was an MVP. He did go to the Super Bowl, putting the team on his back, and he's showing you what he could do. And I think, it really worked out for him because I think the Patriots and Bill Belichick, he's the best coach for Cam Newton, and they're going to be something to deal with.
They're going to be something to deal with. And you know what I like seeing? Cam is having fun, it looks like.
Yeah.
Because he didn't take a lot of money for Cam Newton's standard, so it wasn't about the money. I think he got a little bit of a humility pill because people weren't fighting for him. Matter of fact, it took him a while to find a team as a free agent. But, you hit the jackpot. You're looking for a team, and you end up on the Patriots. But he didn't take a big contract. He ended up on the Patriots, and it honestly looked like he's having fun again. His last couple of seasons in Charlotte, they were putting all the blame on him for the mistakes that they made, for the injuries they had. He was injured. And then, to be honest, some of that was on him. He wore emotions on his sleeve. But now it looks like he's just playing football. He's just having fun, the love of the game, reinventing himself. And the sky's the limit, to be honest.
Yeah, Cam is, one thing about him, you can never question his work ethic. He always stays in great shape. So he has a lot of good years ahead of him. And I know the Patriots aren't even fully staffed. Remember, they had the most players in the league that set out due to COVID.
Yep.
I think they could definitely improve and get some better receivers around them, some better tight ends. So they're going to be... The reign isn't over. They're still going to be around, and they're still going to be real competitive.
Yeah.
But we got to talk about the Bears.
The Bears. 3-0, baby.
Yep, 3-0. We've been talking about them for the last couple weeks.
Because we from the Chi, so that's what we going to do.
You already know. And you kept asking me, was I excited? They were 2-0. But I was like, nah, they barely beat the Giants, barely beat the Lions. But now with Nick Foles at QB, I'm excited.
Yeah.
You got a veteran team, and I think they just respond to a veteran quarterback, Super Bowl MVP. Anytime he's been healthy, anytime he's had a good system, he's balled out.
True.
You can't argue he's one of the clutchest quarterbacks we've seen.
True. couple of years ago when we thought we had a shot at the Super Bowl, I was worried when St. Nick became the starter.
Yeah.
When the playoffs started, I said we have to get past Philly in this first game because they were the defending champs, and then their starting quarterback got hurt, so they had to put St. Nick back in, Nick Foles back in, and that's who we had to play in the first round. And I knew that was going to be a tough challenge, and Nick Foles rose to the occasion again and beat us, and I thought we were going to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, we certainly had the talent, and we still do.
Yeah.
And it was something about, so I think Matt Nagy, he was waiting on Trubisky to mess up. He's like, we 2-0.
Yeah.
As soon as he threw one pick, he was like, okay, it's Nick Foles time. We put him in, and we know what happened. He came in, he threw 5 touchdowns.
He really did. They just muffed a few of them.
He threw 5. He really came in the fourth quarter and threw 5 touchdowns.
Right.
One got snatched, and then one was dropped, but then he still threw the 3 touchdowns that put us ahead.
Yeah.
And when he came into the game, I don't know if you noticed this, but it seemed like the whole energy of the team changed.
Oh, the whole atmosphere changed. It was like, yeah, we could do this. And that's where he did that with Philly. Like, Philly should have kept him.
Yeah.
But they just didn't want to keep him. But every time when Philly needed him or wanted to win a big game and he was in there, you could feel that they felt they could win. But he wasn't their guy, which is, I'm glad he wasn't because he's our guy now.
Yeah, it seemed like the whole team responded. It seemed like, he's a veteran, so he's calling stuff out at the line. He's commanding the huddle. He's you see him on the sidelines telling guys where to be. On that last play, he's the one that audibled Anthony Miller to run the post. Yeah, and actually, the crazy thing about it, that was the same play we saw at the end of the half where Trubisky, was Trubisky and he overthrew him. Yeah. And then at the end of the play, at the end of the game, for the game winner, you call the same play and it was a perfect pass with the pressure in his face. And that's just the difference. He's a veteran, and when you have a bunch of great vets on defense, we got a bunch of great vets on offense. And I think they just respond to a veteran quarterback. And I think that offensive genius we saw from Nagy in his first season, that we saw at KC, he's going to be able to open the playbook back up.
I agree.
Because when you can't consistently throw the deep ball, it's going to limit you. People are going to stack the box. They're going to blitz. It's going to slow down the run. Then the defense is going, you get unmotivated when the guys aren't scoring on the other end.
True.
Even though we were 2-0 coming into that game.
But like you say, luckily we played probably the 2 worst teams in the NFL. Seriously.
Yeah.
The Giants and Detroit are horrible. Well, Detroit might not be that horrible. The Giants are horrible right now.
Yeah. Yeah, and even though we were 2-0, we were the last or second to last ranked in passing offense.
Right.
So that's not going to get it done. This is a passing league nowadays. And I think having Nick Foles, the team has new life, new motivation. And you're going to see the defense take it to another level as well. You're going to see because we got weapons. We might, and weapons-wise, we can match up with almost any team in this league. Yeah. Allen Robinson, Jimmy Graham, Ted Ginn, Anthony Miller. I like Montgomery. Yeah. Unfortunately, we lost Tyree Cohen. We'll see him next season. But we got the weapons. The offensive line is playing much better. And we're going to make some noise. We're coming for the division.
I think so, too. And according to the NFL Power Rankings, we moved up from 19 to 16. So we're on the move. They're putting a little respect on our name. And rightfully so. We're 3-0. So we just got to keep pushing, got to keep moving forward. It's going to be a lot of fun with Nick Foles in there. And to me, Nick Foles is the type of quarterback. He's like a not Peyton Manning. He's like what's the other Manning name?
Eli?
He's like a Eli Manning to me, and here's what I mean by that. Eli Manning wasn't, in my opinion, during the regular season, he wasn't like the top quarterback, okay? Mm-hmm. He wasn't a Brady. He wasn't a Peyton Manning. He wasn't a Drew Brees. He wasn't even an Aaron Rodgers. But in a big game, all you had to do was get Eli Manning to the playoffs, and he wasn't going to back down from anybody. Got 2 rings, beat the Patriots twice, and beat probably a team that would have been considered the best team of all time the Patriot team with Randy Moss. But Eli Manning, they had some bad years with the Giants, but he had a lot of good years once you got him to the playoffs. He was big game, wasn't afraid, made the big throws, made the right decisions. And to me, Nick Foles is that same way. I don't know if he's going to keep lighting it up all season, but if we could just get to the playoffs, if the Bears get into the playoffs, I like having Nick Foles at the helm because he is a big game player.
Yeah. And I do want to talk about Mitch Trubisky. I do think, he gave us all. He obviously lost his starting position, but the Bears gave him plenty of opportunity. This is his third season as a starter. But I do think he's still too talented to sit on the bench.
I do too. And I think the Bears did him a disservice. Number one, he should have been running the football more. If you watch Mitch Trubisky, he is a very talented runner.
Yeah.
If Nagy would have made some adjustments and we would have did more run pass options and kind of, tailored our offense more so to his talents, he can really run. And he's elusive. He is deceptively fast, but he didn't have a lot of run plays called. Nagy wanted to put a round hole in a square peg. He was determined to make him a pocket passer. That's not what he is. He should have made him a hybrid. That's number one. Number two, it would be okay if he had some time on the bench. They didn't have to rush him and make him the starter and make him the chosen one. Now
they did, because if you move up, you trade up to get the number 2 pick. The expectation when you're drafted that high, and especially when you get traded up and drafted that high, you have to be able to produce your first, second year. So that was more the GM, the management for making that bold move. You can't. Why is the number 2 pick sitting on the bench for 3 years? That just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's true.
And that was kind of the awkwardness of the situation, because normally when you get a new coach, you allow them to say, "Oh, this quarterback will work for what I'm trying to do." But this was a situation where you got the quarterback, you traded all this leverage to get him, and then you hire a new coach. So he's like, I'm trying to run my offense, and now I got to change it. But it was an awkward situation.
It was.
But I still think he's too talented to sit on the bench.
I do too.
And when you watch the Saints, you look at a guy like Taysom Hill. A guy, he's their backup quarterback.
Yeah.
But he's fast. He can run. He can catch. He got hands, which a lot of quarterbacks do. I would talk to Trubisky and say, hey, you could still get minutes. You could still be productive on this team. Learn how to run some routes. Learn how to play the option. And he could be a gadget guy, especially since we're down Tariq Cohen. Maybe use Trubisky in that role as a gadget guy for this season.
No. Come on, man. No. Oh, I mean, that's a bold move.
You want him just sitting on the bench?
Yeah. He needs to sit on the bench, hold a clipboard, learn the position. He wasn't ready. But to me, he's a talented thrower on the football. He's just not accurate, but he has some arm strength. And he's such a gifted runner. I think he could actually play quarterback in the NFL. But if he can get some time to get himself together, if he can build up some confidence, I'm not saying he could be a franchise starter, but I could see him as a real good perennial backup. I could see him playing 15 years in the NFL. And I don't think you have to make him a hybrid. I think he could be a really good, sometimes starter, nice backup quarterback in the NFL for a while, and maybe might do okay a few seasons.
I mean, that would be great for another team. I'm talking about for the Bears this year.
Right. I feel you.
Get him involved, because I just think he is a talented guy. We did spend a number 2 pick on him. Let's keep him involved. Okay. We could have some trick plays where it's 2 quarterbacks on the field, one throws to the other, make a deep pass, or do some of the things we've seen the Saints do. We've seen the Patriots run crazy trick plays. I think you could still get him involved. And he'll have plenty of time. He's had plenty of time to learn the position. This is his 3rd season as a starter, 4th year in the NFL.
But remember this, Nick Foles got hurt the first game of the season last year. So you got to have a reliable backup.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you can't, with Nick Foles' injury history, you got to be a little careful with that. So maybe not this year. because we need Foles, and we please, Foles, do not get hurt. But I do see what you're saying. We got to get some value out the guy. We moved up to get him at the number 2 pick. Why not?
Yeah.
I like that.
And because they're gonna need all the help they can get. Because looking across the division up north, the Green Bay Packers.
Oh my goodness.
Aaron Rodgers is, I think he heard a lot of the chatter last season. People were saying he was done and he will never look the same. And he's back.
He is, man. He looking good.
And the Packers have a good defense as well, and they got a bunch of weapons around them. So we're 3-0. They're 3-0 too. So we got to keep it going.
Yeah, we got to keep pace. And it looked like the Vikings. I don't know what the Vikings are gonna do. We got the Colts next, so hopefully we should be able to beat the Colts. Colts are 2-1 though. They're not a bad team. So
yeah, and they got Phillip Rivers.
Yeah.
But another thing about the Packers, if Aaron Rodgers wins the MVP, I think they got to give Rookie of the Year to Jordan Love.
Yeah.
I think
I got you.
He's Rookie of the Year right now because a lot of people were like, why would they draft a quarterback in the first round? I think that was another chip on the Aaron Rodgers shoulder this year.
Yeah.
Like people saying I'm washed up. And then y'all gonna draft a quarterback?
Nobody thought the Packers would draft a quarterback in the first round. Nobody saw that coming.
Especially with all the talent on the board. There was a ton of great players still on the board.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, Jordan Love was a quarterback drafted in the first round by the Packers, and they have Aaron Rodgers. So that's just was something where everybody was like, what? Nobody saw that coming.
So like I said, if he end up winning MVP this year, they got to give Rookie of the Year to Jordan Love.
He might not take a single snap and be Rookie of the Year.
Because that was I think it was some psychology going on there. Because Aaron Rodgers is balling.
Well, it worked. Now let's switch gears a little bit. Even though they're not our team, we're not haters. Congratulations to the Chicago Cubs winning the NL Central.
Yep.
They're part of the 16 teams, 8 in the National League, 8 in the American League, that are in the baseball playoffs. They started today, and our team, the Chicago White Sox, we got a win today. As of the podcast, we got us a W. Lucas Giolito, he pitched a no-no this year. Had a stellar performance. He had a perfect game the first 6 innings. One of the few players to ever do that. To me, the AL MVP, Jose Abreu, he hit a home run in that game. I think we might have a Subway series, or for the shot, we might have an L Train series. Cubs might be able to do it. Sox might be able to do it. And so, Mike BURR, do you think we could pull that off where the Cubs could win 13 games? Because if you win 13 games with this new Major League Baseball format, you got to win best of 3 in the first round in the wild card series, best of 5 in the division series, best of 7 in the league championship, best of 7 in the World Series. So you need a total of 13 wins to win the World Series. Do you think the White Sox and Cubs could pull it off in our lifetime and we have an L Train series?
I do, but I don't want it to happen this year because of COVID.
Because we can't go.
Yeah, because that would be just, the buzz won't be the same,
Yeah.
With all the Cubs versus the Sox, South Side versus North Side. You want that series live. You want the stadiums packed. You want the parades, the cookouts. The city would be crazy.
The sports bars, the restaurants,
the events, and it would just be so much buzz around that.
Grant Park.
Yeah, with everything closed down. I'm still rooting for it for both teams, obviously, but especially the White Sox. But I hope it doesn't happen this year. I hope they could, take a layaway and do it, next season.
Okay. Well, the Cubs like I say, the White Sox are playing the Oakland A's. We won the first game. We win the second. If we win the second game, we move on to the next round. Cubs start tomorrow. As of this podcast, they up against the Florida Marlins. The power rankings in baseball, the White Sox ended number 7, out of the 30 teams, and the Cubs finished number 10. So it's some potential there, man. Both top 10 teams this year, and who knows, man? But it's exciting that Bears are 3-0, and both of our baseball teams are in the baseball playoffs. That's a lot of fun here in the Chi.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And before we move on to the NBA Finals,
Okay.
we do have to talk about the game Monday Night Football.
Yes.
Chiefs, Ravens.
Yeah.
I think we already talked about Mahomes early in this podcast, but he's just on another level.
He is.
You could take any other quarterback in the league right now today. As great as Russell Wilson is, as great as Aaron Rodgers is playing, and statistically, you know, some guys are doing better, but when you look at the eye test and what you see, the types of throws he makes, the level of difficulty that he makes look easy, and then if nobody's open, in the rare event nobody's open, he'll just run and get the first down.
He surely will.
He could shake you. He's very smart. He doesn't get hit, and even if you pressure him, he has to throw off his back foot or make some awkward angle. He just throws it like it's nothing. So it's just frustrating for defenses. And they beat the Ravens again. And watching them play, and we've seen them play a couple times in the last couple years, I think the Mahomes and the Ravens is like LeBron and the Raptors. You look at the Ravens, great team, got stars, got Lamar Jackson, obviously. But I think the Chiefs just got their number.
Right now they do. They really do.
Yeah.
They have their number. It's that speed. Because the Ravens are a physical team. They dominate people. They had the number one defense coming into that game.
Yep.
They dominate people physically. They always have hard hitters. They always have crazy dudes. But something about that speed of the Chiefs just bothers them. Guys on the Chiefs be wide open against the Ravens, and that just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And then on the occasion when they do make a good play, then they still don't make the play, which that doesn't happen with the Ravens. So you're right. I got to agree with that. They do have the Ravens number right now. And then Lamar Jackson right now, he doesn't know how to win the big game yet. That's something he's going to have to work on. Because he hasn't done that well in the playoffs. In his 2 playoff appearances, he was bad to average. And he can't beat KC. So he's going to have to learn how to win big games.
Yeah.
He's a super talent. But you could tell he's not as far along in his maturation process as Patrick Mahomes in this early stages of their career.
Right. And because Lamar's still super young. And, seeing the success he's seen already. And he's improved as a passer every year in the NFL.
Yep.
And one thing about the Ravens I was noticing, I think they're great front runners, right? Because they play good defense. They know how to run the football. So if they get ahead, they're hard to come back on.
True.
But when they get down, that's when the problems happen.
Yeah, they fall apart.
Right? Because the physical defense isn't as effective. And then on the other end of the ball, they got to get more creative with the passing game.
Yeah.
They're great and creative on the run, but you can't, as good as Lamar Jackson has become as a passer, he's still not a pocket passer.
No.
You got to get some plays where you're running a bootleg where he's, rolling left, rolling right, or you run an option pass and an option run. So he has an option to pitch it or he can throw it downfield. You got to get him moving because his legs are the most dangerous threat.
Yeah.
Right? It's just like LeBron in the NBA. Like, you don't want LeBron going to the basket. If he beats you shooting threes, oh well. And
right.
that's what it's like with Lamar. Like, if he beats you with his legs, you don't want that to happen. But if he beats you sitting in the pocket and picking you apart, you just got to
deal with it. Yeah.
So they gotta get creative in the passing game and make some more better situations for him where he can roll out. You still use his legs to create opportunities downfield.
Yeah, and in his defense, in Lamar's defense, when they first put him in as a starter a few years ago, they didn't let him throw the ball at all.
Yeah.
Then the next year he's MVP. So he's come a long way already. And it's a little tough on him because the guy he's most compared to, Patrick Mahomes, is playing like he's been in the league for 10 years and the top quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
So there's a tough comparison there. He'll be okay, but he's just going to have a little bit of a different trajectory to get better because he's still a very young dude.
Very.
And like I say, he just started to become a consistent thrower of the football. And like I say, it puts more of a light on him and exposes him a little more because the guy who's going to be his main competition probably for the next 10 years, kind of like the Brady-Peyton Manning duel, is right now he's so far ahead of the curve, like nothing we've ever seen in the NFL, probably since, for all those who are old school, since Dan Marino, who at one point was the number one passer in the history of the game till all these guys start passing him up. But that's the way Dan Marino came into the league. I mean, as soon as he came into the league, he was like the top thrower of the football. And that's what I haven't seen that since Patrick Mahomes. So in his defense, Lamar Jackson is going to be okay, but I think he's just going to need a little extra time to kind of get up to speed and get to that point.
Yeah, same. Like you say, he's still super young. You know, put winning the MVP so early in your career, and then having Mahomes, you know, having to play him so often, it puts the spotlight on him. But he's still learning, he's still growing, and he's already one of the top quarterbacks. And like I said, I think they need to, with a guy like Lamar, he's so unique. You need to throw out all the old plays, all the Flacco plays, get rid of those. He's not a sit in the pocket guy. You can do that sometimes, but you got to get creative and you got to get some motion to the offense if you want to beat the Chiefs. And now I guess now we got to talk about the finals.
We got to talk about the finals, the NBA finals, the Miami Heat, Los Angeles Lakers. Y'all know the deal. Y'all saw what the Lakers did against Denver. Denver went down 3-1, but the Lakers, they aren't the Clippers. And they have King James. They have Anthony.
Bronson them
they
home.
have AD. They like, no, y'all not coming back on us and make history and come back from 3-1 again. Sent them home. And the Miami Heat, they took care of business against Boston. It was a competitive series, but the Miami Heat had control the whole time. So now you got the matchup. Everyone knows Lakers, Miami Heat. Here's the question, because everybody's picking the Lakers as the favorite. So
yeah,
I want to take a little different direction in this podcast. Do the Heat even have a chance to win this series?
Yeah, the pulse of the culture has been that the Lakers are absolute favorites. That's what Vegas is saying. That's what all the major sports networks are saying. And I think it's ridiculous. The Heat team, they almost swept the Bucks. They dominated Boston. This is a legitimate team. You know, they got two legit all-stars in Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler. They got a host of role players, got a great coach, great franchise, and they have great chemistry. I don't think the gap is as far as people trying to make it.
Yeah, I've seen most of the experts I've been seeing on a lot of sports shows other than ours is I've seen some sweeps, and I've seen, for the most part, the consensus was 4-1. They're giving the Heat a game just off of love, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's ridiculous, and that's, I hope that's not the Lakers mentality, because they've looked lethargic at times in the bubble. They can't take games off against this Heat team. Because if you let them win one and they get some momentum and that confidence builds, you don't want to get upset, because they have the dogs to do it. They have enough players that on any given night, we've seen Tyler Hero drop 35. We've seen Bam drop 30. We've seen Jimmy drop 30. Dragic could drop you for 30. Then they got a finals MVP in Iguodala.
Yeah.
And the thing about the Heat, this is going to be the best defensive matchup, or I should say the worst defensive matchup for the Lakers.
Why you say that?
Well, when you look at the teams they played, so Portland, terrible defensive team. They didn't really have any answers for anybody on the Lakers.
True that.
The Rockets, just too small. They played hard, but it just didn't have the size.
No size.
Then the Nuggets, great defensive team, but no answer for LeBron or AD. You know, they don't have anybody that can match up with those guys. But the Heat, they have guys, and I'm not saying anybody could stop LeBron or AD, but they have guys that could bother them.
Okay.
Jimmy Butler, Andre Iguodala, Jay Crowder, Bam Adebayo, Olynyk. They have guys that can at least challenge them, force them into tough situations, force them to take difficult shots.
Okay. You know what? For our subscribers out there, a.k.a. our winners, hit us up on the comments. We want to hear what you guys have to say, because that's what this podcast is for. We love sports. We want to hear from you. So hit us up. Now, I do want to say this. The Miami Heat are a great story, because I don't know if most teams picked them to get to the finals. A lot of people picked Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Some people thought Philly might actually step it up and get there. there were a few people for Toronto. Maybe some people picked Miami. But once the Miami Heat put Bam into the lineup during the course of the season, everything for them changed. He is such a great player, man. He's young, he's athletic, and he kind of changes the mentality of that team. Because he brings it every time he gets on that floor. And he finishes around the rim. He's a really smart player. I don't think he gets a lot of credit for his basketball IQ, and he's versatile. He'll stop and pull up. Anything around the basket is a dunk. That's what changed the whole temperature of the Miami Heat when he got put in the starting lineup. So, yeah, I think the Heat can challenge. I don't think they'll beat the Lakers. We both picked the Lakers. But I don't think they're going to lay down like everybody says they are.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough series. They're not the type of team to lay down. They're not the type of team to take games off. They're going to be in their face. And like we've been saying, they're confident. They think they can win this series.
Yeah, they do.
They've approached every series like that. A lot of people didn't think they would be in Milwaukee, and they thought they could, and they did. You know, so like I said, if the Lakers come out lethargic, if they come out slow, if they can't get the third option consistently, they're in trouble. But that being said, I think LeBron and AD are just too good right now. I think the role players they got a bunch of veterans, bunch of guys that have been in this situation. And you know, you got former defensive player of the year Dwight Howard. He's gonna have a huge role this series.
I think so.
Rajon Rondo, playoff Rondo is real.
Playoff Rondo is real, baby.
He's gonna have a huge role for him. And then you got so many other guys, just like the Heat can have guys that could drop you for 30 any night. They got guys, they probably won't drop you for 30, but they can get you 15 or 20.
Yeah, and make some big baskets.
Yeah, and timely baskets when you look at KCP and Caruso and
Danny Green.
Kuzma, Danny Green, those fourth option guys, they could be clutch too. So I think the Lakers are just the better team. But that being said, LeBron did used to play for the Heat. So if anybody knows his weaknesses, if anybody knows how to put him in uncomfortable situations, it's Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra.
I think so. Well, this is the time of the podcast where our super producer April comes in and hits us with some jewels, but she's taking care of some business right now. Like I said, taking care of business. So I'm gonna throw some stuff out there in her stead. Doc Rivers got fired. I personally think Doc is done as a coach. I wouldn't hire Doc Rivers as a coach. And I like Doc Rivers. I'm not saying he can't coach. I mean, obviously he can. Won a championship with Boston, got him back to the finals. So anytime you win a ring in the NBA, I don't care if you have a great team or whatever, it takes some coaching. And then to get back to the NBA finals, losing to the Lakers. So to get to 2 NBA finals as a coach at the NBA level, you know X's and O's. You know how to coach basketball. But to me, I just think his time is up. And don't get me wrong, there's worse coaches in the league. So I'm not saying his time is up because he can't coach at all, because we know there's some other coaches in this league that Doc is still better than. But I just think now it's time for him to go to the front office. You know, I would love to see him as an executive and go to a higher level. He accomplished what he needed to accomplish as a coach. And I would love to see him now in the front office because we need some more front office guys. He's from the Chicagoland area. And it'll be from Maywood, Illinois, which is out west, right outside Chicago. So, you know, he's gone now. I don't think he should coach again. I would love to see him in the front office or be a part of some type of ownership group. What do you think is going to happen to Doc Rivers?
Yeah, that's interesting. He could definitely transition to the front office. I know for a while, until they got Jerry West, he was like the coach and the GM. So I can see him making that move. I think it's up to him. I think, you know, he's an NBA guy. He played and he coached, and he'll definitely find another job. You know, he'll make a great addition to any team. But that being said, I do think he could be a coach still. You know, he won a championship. He's the greatest Clippers coach in history, and he has an impressive coaching resume. So if he wants to coach, I would look at a team, and I don't know if their front office would do this, but like Sacramento, a team with young talent, You put the right coach in there, and it's a great situation. But they've committed to Luke Walton.
Why, I don't know.
So it's some teams that could definitely use what he can bring to you, especially building up a young team.
Like the Bulls. Can you imagine if the Bulls would have got Doc Rivers? That would have been such a great story.
Yeah, especially with the hometown connection.
Yeah.
But like you said, they already committed to Billy Donovan. So I know the Rockets are looking for a coach. So it's some teams out there that could possibly hire him. But like you said, he could easily transition to the front office as well.
Okay. Something else that happened, just doing April, the super producer's job. Some guys tried to kidnap, or a guy tried to kidnap the daughter of the San Francisco 49er great Joe Montana, busted in their home and tried to steal their daughter. That was crazy, man. Thank God they fought him off. Next up, Tariq Cohen is out for the Bears. I don't know if we mentioned that during our Bears segment, but that was. But I'm happy he just signed his contract like the week before that.
Yeah, I know he's happy too that he got his guaranteed money, and he'll be back stronger than ever next season. We've seen a bunch of players at this point come back from the ACL. But we'll definitely miss him this year and get well soon.
And one of the great Bears, Gale Sayers, passed away recently. We want to just give condolences to him and his family. Hall of Fame legend. And if you haven't seen the movie Brian Song, you need to see that movie. That's a wonderful movie starring Billy D. Williams, Lando Calrissian of Star Wars. And those are just the little quick hits that happen. And I want to kind of throw something out right quick. What do you think is going to happen with the NFL next season? Do you think that teams are going to allow the fans to come back to the stadium
next season?
Next season.
I don't know. It's so up in the air, and I know they're trying to rush a vaccine through, and all. I don't know.
Because football has like 70,000 people.
Yeah.
I think it could be an easier transition for the sports with smaller fans. But football has so many. Do you think we'll be back, or even all the sports?
Yeah, I mean, I know some teams are planning on having more fans this season. For the first couple of games, it's only been like 100 to 500 people, and mainly just friends and family. But I know some teams, like starting next week and the week after, they're going to start having, up to 25% and up to 50%. They're trying to scale it up gradually. And, obviously if breakouts or anything doesn't happen, we may have crowds by the playoffs. But, I think it's so much up in the air with the COVID situation. We'll have to see.
Yeah. I can't wait for COVID to be over with. I got to be honest, man. But thank God sports are back. Thank God things are getting a little bit back to normal. But I'm really just curious to see how the thing is going to play out next year. And I know I'm kind of thinking ahead, but, it's just something that popped in my head.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Who do you think is the most valuable franchise in all of sports? Because is it the Lakers? Is it the Celtics? Is it the Yankees? Is it the Patriots?
Like just purely money-wise?
Just purely, not just looking at, you can probably do the math and see the Cowboys. But I'm saying if you could just pick a fantasy team that you could own for the reputation, for the tradition, for the winning, who would it be? And this is a question for our subscribers, for our winners. Throw this out there in the comment. If you could have your dream franchise, you were the owner, you were the commander-in-chief, who would you pick? What franchise?
Yeah, that's a great question. You got so many great franchises and brands in the league. Like you mentioned, a lot of them, the Lakers, and you also had the Yankees. You got the Cowboys, and
pick one.
I don't know. I'm kind of putting me on the spot. I would go off the top of my head. You said the Clippers?
The Lakers.
Oh,
I would go with the Lakers.
I was about to say
they always win. They're in sunny LA.
Yeah.
All the top players always seem to dream of going there. They always get the big free agent. I would go with LA.
Yeah, I don't know. off the top of my head, I would think the Lakers, but I would also say the Miami Heat.
Oh, really?
You know, you could be down in Miami. You know, they have a winning tradition as well.
Yeah.
Great franchise. You know, it's just a great situation there.
All right. Well, that's the question for our subscribers out there, our winners. So just think about what franchise would you own? You'll be the commander in chief because they have a great tradition. They have the winning. They have the location and all those good things. So throw those down in the comments. We definitely want to hear from you. And I want to give a shout out to Coach Percy. He's a new subscriber. He's a winner. He's a good friend of mine. So welcome to the show. And we got people all over the world getting on the show now. People from other sides of the equator, people from Latin America, people right here in America. So keep subscribing, keep tuning in. Got anything else, Mike BURR?
Yeah, shout out to all the winners, all the subscribers. We'll just keep growing and make sure to answer the question of the day. What sports franchise would you like to own? And we're going to keep it going.
Yeah, and chop us up and tell us why. You can check us out on all the major social media platforms. Click the like button. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Become a winner. Share it with a friend. And we look forward to talking to you. We got a lot more sports coming up. Things are heating up. Baseball's heating up. Football's heating up. The NBA Finals is rocking. Oh, and I don't want to forget, shout out to the Tampa Bay Lightning. They just won the NHL. They just won the NHL.
Nice.
They just won in hockey. So shout out to them. That's it. That's our podcast. We had a lot of fun. And you know how we do it. Mike BURR, drop the beat.